What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, we got another package for the Beamer. Of course, it's not parts that I want to install again, but like you guys saw last video, the Beamer's still fucking broken. The 335i is still fucked up. I don't even know if I showed in the last video, but the car still has a coolant leak, so I still have to figure that shit out. And the car started leaking oil out of nowhere. Thankfully, I think I know that the oil leak is coming from the oil filter housing gasket. Even though the last owner said that it was replaced, I don't think it was fucking replaced, bro. People do not sell cars with good intentions nowadays. Fuck, man. So right here, I basically ordered just a bunch of maintenance shit. There's a valve cover gasket in here, a bunch of O-rings for the intake manifold. I got some spark plugs, some liquid moly oil. I have a new fuel filter. I don't even know what this bolt's for, but I have a new oil filter housing gasket. It must be in with those gaskets as well. Basically, in today's video, we're gonna try and fix the coolant leak and the oil leak on the car so that we can finally start driving it again. I haven't driven it in like 2 weeks, but it's fucking ridiculous. I'm not gonna start on the car today. I still have to wait on Edgar to ask his parents if he could put the car in the back again, but I'm pretty sure we can. And then we just gotta tear into it again and start replacing everything. So I'll check back in later and I'll show you guys the actual leak on the car and I'll show you guys what we're gonna do. I just wanted to show you guys the package that I got. I'll see you guys in like a day or two. It's like 2 days later. We're gonna start working on the 335i today. I just turned it on. This car is leaking hella oil from the oil filter housing gasket. Like, it's leaking onto the belt. So let's fucking pray that the fucking belt doesn't walk off by the time I go to the back. I don't know, let's see. Today we're gonna break into it and see why the fuck is leaking oil and coolant. Let me load up the car and I'll check in with you guys in a bit.
No, fender, get in the way.
Edgar's trying to restore his foggy headlights. Some guy commented on the video too. He was like, oh, Edgar needs to restore his headlights. All right, we got the car fully loaded. Bro, I'm gonna go into the car that's just gonna be spitting fuel. I mean, oil watch. Yup, I fucking knew it. I know it's from here. I just don't know if it's from the oil filter housing gasket or the valve cover. So I just bought both. I forgot the gaskets like a dumbass. All right, I'm gonna start breaking into it and then I'll keep you guys updated. I need to go get the gaskets right now. I left them. All right, I'm gonna explain what I'm gonna do today. I don't think I'm gonna do much because it's already fucking late. It's like 1 already. Yeah, let me show you guys the leak that I'm talking about. All right, so like you guys saw earlier, there's already a puddle of fucking oil on the ground. It's not a lot, but it's a lot to be leaking, to be honest. So it still has the same coolant leak. I don't know where the fuck the coolant leak is coming from. I bought a pressure tester though to find the leak. So hopefully this works. I already hooked it up and it looked like it was gonna work. So, but first, before I do the pressure test and find where the coolant leak is, I need to fix this fucking oil leak, bro. You guys saw I cleaned the engine in the last video and you guys can't see, but I'll show you guys when I take all this shit off. The front of the block is already drenched in oil. It's fucking ridiculous. This is the oil filter housing and then this is like the oil cooler for like the M Sport package 335s, something like that. I know only the M Sport or like the Sport package 335is have this. It's so like when you beat the fuck out of your car, it keeps your transmission oil and all that shit cool. It's basically an oil cooler. I don't know if it's for the transmission or for the engine or for both, but I know this is the oil cooler. So basically I have one gasket right here and then another gasket right here where the oil filter housing sits to the block. So I'm pretty sure it's leaking from here because the leak is like right down here, but it could also be the valve cover. So I bought the valve cover gasket and the oil filter housing gasket just to replace both of them. I think I'm gonna replace the valve cover gasket first, and then after that then I'll replace this, because once I have all this shit off, it should be easy to get everything from here off. So I don't even know what the first step is, to be honest. I think I'm gonna remove this strut bar, I'm gonna remove the cowl and everything back there, and just try and get as much room as possible to try and just lift up this valve cover once it's free. So I'm gonna get started on unhooking all that. All right, first step is I'm gonna take out this sway bar. It's just 3 nuts on both sides and then the sway bar comes off. Oh, never mind, I can just take out this bolt right here. It's one bolt right here, one bolt on the other side. This sway bar is gonna come off and I'm gonna get started on taking off this. It looks like it's just a bunch of torque screws. 1, 2, 3, 4, and some clips. So yeah, taking this off. I gotta take this off right here. It's a bunch of clips on the inside. Second clip right there, third clip right there. And yeah, I'm gonna just work on getting as much space as possible to take off that valve cover. What are you doing, practicing? Yeah. He's about to spray clear coat on these lenses, on these headlights, without masking off anything. Alright, bro, let's go then.
Nah, I fucking.
Oh my god, I can't believe.
Hell no. Hell no. What? Hell no.
Oh, hell no, bro.
I'll wipe it evenly.
Oh, bro.
Oh, that shit gone. Damn, bro. RIP.
Master 4 technician, bro. Alright, little update. And this was over here still standing. Alright, I got everything off. And bro, honestly, this is like everything I need to take off, just to take out this valve cover. Basically, you just need to get enough room to be able to lift up the whole valve cover, because this engine is hella long. I mean, it's a straight 6. So alright, so now basically like this is good. There's nothing in the front that's like obstructing it. The only thing that's gonna keep the valve cover from coming out is these connections right here. And honestly, I could really just like zip tie these up or something like that. But as you can see right here, like it's gonna be a tight fit. So I think I'm gonna just take off this cover, take off some of the plugs, just to like be able to put it in this area, just so that everything is out of the way, because it's gonna make it easier. So let me try and figure out how to take this off and get these wires out the way, so I can start working on taking off the engine cover and then the bolts and the fuel injectors and all that shit. So alright, I took out the DME cover or ECU cover, whatever you want to call it, and then all the wires feed in through these grommets, and these just like slide into place. So I'm gonna just slide them in how they were. So everything was like this, and basically, like I said, I'm just trying to get these wires out the way. So this is just a ground right here. So I'm gonna just take off this bolt, and then this wire should be able to just lay across the other side. And then this one has enough stretch to just leave it to the side, and it won't interfere with the valve cover. This one doesn't though, so I'm gonna just slip this block off like that. Gives me a little bit more room, and that one's good. And then for this one, I'm gonna slip this block off, but then this wire right here where my finger is connected to this ground right here. So I'm gonna just remove this ground, and hopefully this wire should have enough slack to push everything to the side, and I'll just like zip tie it to the windshield wiper or something to keep all the wires out the way. So let me try that and see how it works. Alright, little update. I took this vacuum line off of the catch can. It's right there. It was sitting right here. So this might be a little bit more difficult for other people, because you guys might still have the stock airbox, and the stock airbox is fucking huge. But I don't even think I have to remove this airbox because the valve cover is cut right here, so we should be good. I got all those out to the side. I don't have zip ties long enough. Edgar brought me some Edgar size zip ties, so I might try and make big zip ties out of this by just combining a lot and just zip tying them to the windshield wiper to make sure that these wires don't fall down on me while I'm changing shit, because then dirt and all that shit could get into the engine. But I don't see what else I need to do. This should be it. All I gotta do is take off this engine cover, which I don't have any bolts in my engine cover. You guys might have a bolt in these, but it's pretty easy to take it off. So I don't have any bolts. So there's my engine cover. All that's next is just like removing the fuel rail, the fuel injectors, and just disconnecting some small clips and stuff. Just basically a little bit of things on the top, but I'll explain all that right now. But what I'm gonna do before that is I'm gonna inspect this plastic valve cover, just make sure there's no cracks in it. Sometimes they crack, so I'm gonna just look it over, and then I'll come back in a bit, and then I'll show you guys what I'm gonna do next. But I don't see why I have to remove anything else on the sides, because from what it looks like, I should be able to reach all those E-bolts all the way around the valve cover, and then just slip the valve cover off, switch the gasket, and put everything back on. So let me inspect this, and I'll come back and I'll show you guys what I'm gonna do next. I already inspected it. It looks pretty good. I see some oil inside. I mentioned that last video. I don't know where the fuck that oil is coming from. So when I take out the valve cover, I'll try and inspect them more. But right now, I can't really see much. What the fuck are y'all doing? The next step is I gotta remove these coil packs. And the way you remove them is you just lift this piece up. That comes off. There, the connector's out. And then you just gotta remove, just literally pull this pack out. They're probably gonna be kind of stubborn, so what you can do is you can put an extension inside and then just kind of leverage it out, and then it should come off. So repeat this for all the coil packs. There's 6 of them. After these coil packs are out, I'm gonna start working on taking out these small, I think these are 8mm, these nuts right here. I think they're basically grounding this whole harness, so I'll take out those. Basically what we're trying to do right now is remove this block right here, because this is like the wiring harness for the motor. So coil packs,
and then these 8 mils, and I'll check back in after because I don't know what the fuck to do after that. Commercial break. Yes, sir. Lunch break over. Let's get back to taking out this valve cover. It's just 3 8 mils. I thought it was more, but it's one here, one in the middle, and one back here. Now I gotta take off these plugs. I don't know what these are for. Oh, these are for the fuel injectors. To take out these plugs, I have no idea how to remove them. Or I see a little, let me remove this. I'm pretty sure I gotta put a pick right here and lift up this little connection right here and then just slip it out. Let me try and figure out how to remove this and I'll show you guys once it's out. Yeah. Here's the connection I took out. And then basically this little lip right here that it has a little plastic clip that's over it. So you just gotta get a pick under there, lift up the lip, and then just pull this out. So I'm gonna do this for all of these. All right, I got all the plugs out. And then you gotta take out this vacuum line right here, and it's gonna connect. I don't even know what it connects to, like stock. I have a catch can though, so that connects to the catch can, which we took off right here. And then this is the clip that connects to the car. And then take this off, 4 pins. Push this up, this one this way, that one that way, this one that way, at the same time while you pull, and then this one should just come off. Mine is broken, so it came out kind of easy, but yeah, that's how you take out this clip. But this is the catch can, and I've never done an oil change in this car or anything like that, so I don't know if you guys can hear it, but that's just full of oil, so I gotta dump this right now. I don't know how dark the oil is gonna be. I haven't seen the oil on this. That catch can is sick though. Burger Motorsports.
Cheeseburger.
This is all blow by. Damn, that shit dark as hell. Alright, let's get back with the car. Next thing we gotta do is I gotta remove these connections down here. You guys can't see them good. Relax. There's this fuel rail. It's right here, lines up. It just has a bunch of clips. So this connection right here I gotta remove. And I think that's it. Oh, and this one right here as well. Because those 2 connections connect to this, and we're trying to take out this block. So let me remove those and see what happens.
Nice.
Okay, these are the 2 connections I took off. I lost the quick disconnect for this one. It didn't fall to the ground, so that's just somewhere in here still. I'm gonna try and look for it later. If not, I'm gonna have to get a new one to put on here. But be careful when you pull those out. To remove it, you gotta push this clip, pull it out, and then it just comes out like a quick disconnect. So be careful when you remove them, that you don't lose them like my dumbass. All right, now with these 2 out, we can take out this E10 bolt and that E10 bolt right here, and that's gonna hold this entire block of wiring, and we'll be able to put it out the way. Oh, and you gotta remove the vacuum line, but we already did that. This is loose, and then you just gotta follow this connection. You gotta remove this one right here on the fuel rail. I already took it off, but it's just a push pin. Push this in and then pull. That one comes off, and then we have to get this gray and black. These are the O2 sensors. You just want to get all this wiring out of here. So disconnect this one, disconnect this one. There we go. So this is the black wire O2 sensor, and this is the gray wire O2 sensor. And now you just want to lift these up out of this bracket that you see right here. So God damn. Oh, I broke it. Nope. Oh no, I didn't. It just sits in between these grooves, so it just sits in like that. There we go. And then there's some brackets here that hold the wires in on both sides. Just slip them out of these brackets. There we go. And then this one too. Out. And now these wires are loose. And then now you can lift up the whole thing like this, and you can like kind of put it to the side, out of the way of the valve cover. So I'm gonna try and find a way to keep this out of the way. Oh, yeah. Just get all the wires out the way. Be careful not to break anything, of course. And now you should have room to take out the valve cover. All right, now that this wiring harness is out the way, that's like the annoying part. Now we gotta take out this fuel rail, and the way you take that off is with the open-ended 14mm wrench. Break each side, and then you want to loosen this side a little bit, loosen this side, and just try and take them out as evenly as possible. So we're gonna take out all these fuel rails. I'm probably gonna number them just so I know where they sit. It looks like they're all bent a specific way, but I'm gonna just number them just in case so I know how they go. So 1, 2, 3, etc. And then after these fuel rails are out, you want to crack this one and loosen this one. This is a 17 mil, and that feeds the entire fuel rail. So let's get started on that. All right, we got the fuel rails out. Be careful, you're gonna spill a little bit of gas. It should evaporate, but I got some like down there. I'll try and clean it right now when I take out the valve cover. But now the next step is we gotta break this bolt right here. It's a 17. Hold on. Let me get a rag. This shit might spit. All right, go. Put it under, no?
Oh, David, smack that shit.
You think GoPro is good against gas?
Might just pop me
Nah,
all
people be playing GoPro. We cracked this bolt already. Took out the fuel rails. Let's work on the vacuum lines next. So there's these two vacuum lines that go across the valve cover. One line goes to each one of these vacuum canisters right here. Just how this vacuum line is at the top on both of them, there's another exact same one on the bottom. So if your hands are skinny enough like mine, you could go underneath probably and just disconnect them. I don't have wheel fender, what do you call these, the protectors? I don't have wheel fender liners, so I'm probably gonna go underneath the car and just pull out the thing. There shouldn't be anything holding it in. It should literally just slip off. So I'm gonna disconnect these vacuum lines from the bottom so that then we could fish these vacuum lines out and put them on that side. All right, there's one. Oh, there's two. If your hand doesn't, you're always doing this shit. If your hand doesn't fit underneath here, shut up. If your hand doesn't fit underneath here, you're gonna have to take out this bracket and then be able to pull it off. Then these vacuum lines are hella fucked up. If you have a boost leak, you need to refresh all your vacuum lines because they don't last long enough. Be careful with these because these are still kind of like hard lines, so just try and put them to the side somehow. Yeah, tampoco, just take it off. Oh my fucking god. Alright, we had to take out these filters a little bit. These aren't stock, so I don't know how to take out the stock airbox. It shouldn't be too hard though. I'm pretty sure there's videos that show you how to take it off, but you have to remove the stock airbox because there's 4 bolts that hold the fuel rail in against the valve cover, and we need to take those 4 bolts out to take out the fuel rail. So these are weird ass intakes. Intakes out, and now I'm pretty sure this cover is just held in by these grommets, so it should literally just pull out. 1, 2. Damn, I'm picking up the whole damn car. You hear that?
It's holding as it is.
All right, I have a 10 mil right here that's holding this tray in, so let's take that out. Oh, there we go. There we go. This is a vacuum line. Feed that out.
Put that in a Ziploc bag.
Yeah, put that in a Ziploc bag and put air intake tray.
And now we could access the 4 bolts that are holding the fuel rail. 1, 2, one underneath here and another underneath there. And then you gotta lift up these plastic tabs. Oh, there you go. There you go. These are out the way. And now we just gotta take out those 4 bolts and the fuel rail should come off. These are 11 mils. Four bolts out. And the fuel. Oh, you're good. Now that the fuel rail's out, you can fish these vacuum lines around this connection right here, and then the whole vacuum line could just like be careful with it. You don't want to bend it too much, but like that's fine. And now literally there's nothing holding the valve cover. I'm pretty sure the next step is to just remove all the bolts that are around the valve cover and just literally take it off. But let me confirm, and then I'll be right back once we have an update. Literally the last step is to take off all these E10 bolts, and that's literally what's holding the valve cover to the actual head. And so just wherever you see an E10, you just gotta remove it. So there's some like all the way around. Just look around where they are. I'll just pan real quick and show you guys where they are. And then there's some deep down here that you guys aren't gonna be able to see.
But they're there.
Yeah, they're there. At the end, I'll tell you how many there are once you take them all off. But and then there's some on the inside too, so don't forget these. E10 right there, right here. And you need to take out these studs too. This is where the 8 mils were grounding the wiring harness. You need to get a deep 10 socket because the bottom of that stud is a 10 millimeter right there. We're gonna get started on that, but before we get started on that, I need to get the gasket ready because I don't want to have the engine just open. So here's the gasket, and I think that's literally it. We're gonna take that valve cover off, take off the old gasket, replace it with this new one, and then throw it back in as soon as possible. All right, Edgar already started breaking some of them loose, but now we actually have to like remove everything. So we're gonna break them all loose first and then take them off evenly at the end. Point of view, you're a valve cover bolt. Okay. I forgot some of these bolts are gonna have spacers. So for example, this bolt doesn't get out after the spacer.
Yeah.
Shut up. Not all of these have spacers though. I don't know why. I know this corner one has a spacer. I think the one back there has a spacer too, but some of the bolts might be different lengths, so just remember where they go, I guess. Damn, do they all have spacers?
Probably.
Ow!
God damn, bro.
Ow, bro.
Missed a piece of your finger.
Oh, shit. Look at this.
Damn.
Oh, fuck. I'm gonna just leave those fucking bolts in and see when we take off the valve cover if it'll come off with the space. It should, right? Yeah, it should. Imagine we did this like a year ago when I had my first 335 and we didn't have power tools. Oh, what the fuck? Did I record that, bro?
You good? You shit good? You almost died.
Is my car good, man? That shit better not short my battery. All right, keep this covered because this was extension just hit this and that just started sparking.
Oh, you were.
All the E10 bolts are out. All we got left is these studs right here. So one right here, 2 and 3. This is where the 8mm grounds were for the wiring harness. But it's a deep ass 10. This is the deepest 10 I have, and it is nowhere close to reach the bottom of that bolt. So I need to figure out how to get this fucking off. The only thing I could think of is trying to break it loose with the wrench and then trying to loosen it the rest. But we need to figure that out. I might have to go to the store and buy a deeper 10 to get that out. All right, little update. We reached a predicament. I can't get these bolts out. I don't have a 10 that's deep enough to take these fucking abnormally large studs off. So I gotta go to AutoZone. I'll probably go today and get a deep ass 10 to take these off tomorrow. And then I'll just come back tomorrow because by the time I come back from AutoZone today, I'm only gonna have like an hour left of sunlight. So I'm gonna just clean up right now, go to the store, and then I'll come back tomorrow and finish the valve cover job. And then tomorrow I'm also gonna be doing the oil filter housing gasket at the same time. So I'll check back in tomorrow. Real quick before I leave, I'm a dumbass. I forgot to disconnect the battery earlier. And right now when we were cleaning everything up, I think the car started tripping because we opened the doors and shit, and the car started bleeding the coolant system by itself. Like the water pump turned on and we're like, what the fuck? And then like after a while, it started spitting fuel out the fuel rail. So on this fuel rail, that's why we put a lot of rags right here. It started spitting a little bit, like it spit a little bit of fuel while it was priming the system. I don't know, the car was just tripping, but the fuel rail is completely open. So I'm pretty sure we were supposed to disconnect the battery and I forgot like a dumbass. So you just gotta go to the back and then twist this knob right here, and then this thing should pop out and you should see the battery, and then just disconnect the negative and you should be good. But damn, hopefully it didn't fuck up anything on the car, like computer system or some shit, especially because we fucking touched the positive with the drill and that just started sparking like you guys saw earlier. So hopefully there's no problems once we connect everything back to the car. But all right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Later. It's the next day and look what I got. Deep ass 10. All right, let's go work on the car. Blue. All right, here's the car. Bro, look at how dirty this car is. That's just so sad. The goal for today is to get the valve cover finished and maybe the oil filter housing gasket. It's already late, it's like 2. I fucking got no sleep yesterday. I'm hella tired. Oh shit, the battery is not connected. All right, let me get situated. All right, I got everything all set up. I got everything all nice and tucked away again like yesterday. And the plan for today is to take out the valve cover. So the reason I wasn't able to take this off yesterday is because I wasn't able to take out these long ass studs that I showed in last video. So last night I went to O'Reilly's and I got this deep ass 10. Hopefully it works. So let's see, hopefully. Yes, sir. I could take out these 3 studs that I wasn't able to take off yesterday. I think that's the only thing holding the valve cover in. After those are out, I'm gonna use like a plastic pry bar and start prying the corners and stuff and just try to take off the manifold. Replace the gasket and then put everything back in. Wish me luck. I got the studs out, they're all nice and loose. These have spacers on them too, so these are like hard to take out. So I'm gonna just leave all the spacers in and just try and pry off the valve cover without removing the spacers. So I'm pretty sure everything's out. We already loosened all the bolts. Yeah, every single bolt is already loose on the outside. The valve cover still doesn't want to come off. You can literally see I'm moving. I don't know if you guys can see, but I'm literally moving the car just by holding it like that. So I'm gonna use some of these plastic pry bars and hopefully these can take off the valve cover. Let me start off with this one. All right, I see it moving a little bit already. All right, I'm gonna put the camera down and try and take this out because I don't want to break this. This is plastic and this shit just looks expensive. The valve cover wasn't coming off. It turns out there was 3 more bolts on top up there that Edgar and David didn't see yesterday, so I took them out. I had to use a long ass extension and a socket adapter to be able to take it out, and the valve cover should come off now. Alright, the valve cover is off. It was kind of annoying to take off, I don't know why. This is like the spark plug wire guides. So I'm gonna remove those 6 and I'm gonna just change the gasket real quick and put everything back in. I wanna have it open for as little time as possible, so it looks pretty good in here though. I'm cleaning around the gasket right now. Cleaning this side of the gasket is such a bitch because there's like barely any room. But it looks like we were actually leaking a little bit in the back of the engine. You can see that oil that was right there, so I'm gonna clean this surface and then clean and prep the valve cover and then put everything back in. I'm gonna take off this gasket and I'm gonna give the whole valve cover a clean because it just looks disgusting. I don't want to see this next time I take off my engine covers. All right, the valve cover is kind of clean. It's not perfect, but right now I'm gonna take off this gasket. And as you can see, all the bolts with the spacers are still inside the valve cover. I'm gonna leave it like that because that means all the bolts are gonna be like ready to go once I put the valve cover back on. Let's get this gasket off, put the spark plug guides back in it, and then put it back inside the car. Hopefully it slides in a lot easier than what it came out. It doesn't feel that bad, to be honest. Bro, honestly, I probably didn't even need to replace it. It feels fine. It was leaking a little bit to the back. It was nothing bad, but I mean, at least now I have peace of mind that the car's not gonna fuck up from the valve cover, at least. So all right, let me try to put this into the car and see how it goes. Pray for me. It went in pretty easy actually. So at first I was kind of scared. I was just scared of pinching the gasket on like one of these on like the fuel injectors thing. So that's the only thing I was scared about, but other than that it went pretty good. It would probably go in a lot easier with these fuel injectors disconnected, so I should have maybe like taken these out, but it looks like it's good. I can see around the valve cover, the valve gasket looks like it's sitting good. I can't check around here too good, so I just felt around with my finger. But the gasket seemed like it was pretty stuck on there, so I doubt that it would move or anything. And yeah, I think it's pretty much ready to start tightening. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna go ahead and hand tighten all these bolts. Just sit them down so they're flush, and then I'm gonna start torquing them down from the inside out. So I'm gonna start with this one, then go across, then the one next to it, and then across, and then the one on this side, across, and then the one on that side, across, and then just keep repeating it until you get all the bolts tightened to make sure that the gasket is sat down as evenly as possible. So let me get started on that and start hand tightening these up. All of the bolts are flush. Now the next step is just to torque everything to 7 foot-pounds. I don't think I'll be able to reach the bolts in the back with the torque wrench, so I'm gonna just torque those by hand. I'm gonna torque these to 7 foot-pounds, and I'm gonna see how tight they are with the regular socket, and then I'll just probably hand tighten the ones in the back like similar to the ones that I torqued, and that should be good. So let me torque this down and the valve cover should be done. My battery died, but let me update you guys on what I did so far. I have the valve cover in, everything's torqued. So I torqued as many bolts as I could with the torque wrench, but in the fucking corners and on this side it was really hard to get the torque wrench in there. I just got a regular ratchet, and I felt one of the ones I had already torqued, and I just kind of saw how tight it was, and then I just tightened the rest like that. So yeah, you probably shouldn't do it like that, but you're supposed to torque the bolts down to 7 foot-pounds. Well, basically what I did was hand tight and then just like 90 degrees more, and it's not gonna go anywhere. The gasket looks nice and even all around, so gasket's done. I'm praying to God it doesn't leak. I'm sure it should be good though. But yeah, it was pretty easy. 1 through 10 difficulty, I'd say maybe like a 7. It wasn't that bad, to be honest. It's just everything inside this fucking bay is so compact. But yeah, that's done. Next thing that I gotta do is I'm not gonna put everything back together because 1, I'm gonna change the spark plugs on it, so I'll have everything ready for that. And 2, I need to remove the intake manifold. I need to remove this oil filter housing unit because I'm gonna replace the gasket that's right here and also the other gasket that's right there. And to remove that, I need to take out the intake manifold, so it's gonna be really easy. I'm gonna try and do as much as I can today. I'm probably not gonna be able to finish the oil filter housing gasket, but I'm gonna just try and take off as much as possible to make it easier for me tomorrow. So I'm gonna get started on that and I'll show you guys what's next. But yeah, the valve cover is done. It was pretty easy. I could have finished it yesterday if I had the deep 10 mil that I had to go pick up last night. But all right, let's move on to the oil filter housing gasket. The little metal shields that go inside of the spark plug tunnels, a lot of forums said to put that before you install the valve cover, but I forgot like a dumbass. But I don't see why you can't just install them like this. I mean, they slip out. I don't see what the point of them is, besides maybe it's supposed to sit deeper inside the cavity and I fucked up. But I am not removing this valve cover again just to fix that. So I'm hoping that this doesn't have to like touch the spark plug or anything to make it conduct, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I recommend you guys put that in before, but we'll see when we start the car what happens. Let's start on the oil filter housing gasket.
What's up, everyone? It's been like a week. I'm editing the footage right now, and my dumbass thought it would be a good idea to put the valve cover and the oil filter housing gasket in one video, but the fucking video is gonna be way too long. I have it all edited down and it's like an hour long still, so I'm gonna just split the video in 2. So this is gonna be it for today's video. Next video I'm gonna upload tomorrow, and you guys are gonna see me changing the oil filter housing gasket and all that shit on it. So I really think these 2 gaskets should be done at the same time, so you guys should do them both at the same time. If your oil filter housing gasket is leaky, might as well just change everything. Like, you'll have more peace of mind that way. If you made it this far, comment. Next week's video should be an update on the 240. I'm just waiting on the head and the intake manifold to get back from the shop, but that's pretty much it. And then we should be able to start working on that again, because I can't work on the 240 without those 2 pieces. So you guys are gonna want to watch tomorrow's video. That's all I'm gonna say. You guys are gonna want to watch it. I'm gonna upload the second part of this video tomorrow, back-to-back videos for you guys. Some of you guys might like it, some of you guys may not. It was hard to try and guess how long this video was gonna be because I recorded over like 8 days of footage. So yeah, I gotta work on that because I'm not the best at doing that shit. But that's gonna be it, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.